Okay guys, today you are going to be sketching for your Hokusai landscape or seascape project. You're gonna get a paper like this. There are 4 different rectangles you can try out some different sketches on. I would like you to, and it says it in the directions, draw a minimum of 2 different landscapes or seascapes. Use Hokusai and his style as inspiration. So you might just do 2, maybe you do like 1 and you mess it up or whatever. You have 4 different spaces. When you are sketching, I want you to keep in mind that the rectangles are horizontal on your paper. You want to draw in them just like this, right? You don't want to turn your paper because the way that the lantern is going to be folded, whenever we eventually get to that step, your image has to be horizontal like this, okay? So when you are drawing today, you can use these folders that I have out there. They'll be placed on your tables, and I have some pictures like the Great Wave that you know, and I also have some other Hokusai images. I do have some flowery ones in there too. Maybe you want to incorporate flowers in your landscapes, and then, you know, lots of other images. So please use these, right? I don't expect you to just like come up with these ideas out of thin air. It always helps to use a visual aid. And, you know, maybe you take some ideas from this image and then maybe you combine them with some ideas in this image, right? You're not just copying anything. You can combine different ideas, but you can be directly inspired by one of his images. Like if you want to do an artwork that's very similar to the Great Wave, I say go for it. You know, I think it's super cool, and maybe you do too. So I also have another place for you to look up some different images of his, but I don't want you just aimlessly searching the internet. The only thing that you're going to use on the iPad, if you get an iPad, you know, I only have 9, is I have a Google G on the front page of every one of the iPads in here, and it says underneath Hokusai. That app, if you open it up, it will take you to Google Images. I already searched Hokusai landscapes. I do not want you just searching Hokusai, okay? It wastes time. I already did it for you. I found exactly what you need. So all you have to do is tap on that Google G, and then you can just scroll through all here. And there are lots of other landscape images or seascape images that you might use whenever you are doing your drawings, okay? So clearly I understand that this is a sketch. You don't have to have quite as many details in this as you will on your final project, but you do want to at least be thinking about the 4 parts of a landscape, right? Your foreground and how objects in it are going to be larger and very detailed. Your middle ground, things are getting a little bit smaller, a little bit less detailed, and then your background, things are supposed to appear farther away, making them even smaller and the least detailed, okay? So I want you to be considering all of those things, you know, and then our horizon line in there. So you should maybe see a little bit of sky. Hokusai has some very interesting skies in his different landscapes and seascapes. He often adds this strip of color across the top. You might see that in a few of them. That is just a common characteristic in a lot of his images. Maybe whenever we get to the coloring section of this, you will want to add something like that, but that is totally your choice. It's your project, okay? So I went ahead and already completed my sketches, okay? So I have 2. Again, if you want to do more than that, go for it, but by the end of class today, I should see at least 1 completed, if not 2 completed sketches, okay? You can tell on this one, I was very much so inspired by the Great Wave, and maybe yours are too. I did mention this whenever we talked about, maybe I didn't to everybody, but to most of my classes, we talked about adding people. If you look how Hokusai adds people, you can still do that and not have to worry, oh, I don't know how to draw people exactly. I'm not good at that. You can just add them further back in your landscape and just have them be, you know, more simplified because of their distance away from us, right? So look at how he does that in his different images, right? There's a person in this boat right here. They're not very detailed at all because they're so small. So you might consider doing that same thing. So I have a pretty good idea. For this one, I took some different ideas from different landscapes that I saw. I took Mount Fuji from one, I took the waves from another, and I took these like hills from a third. I liked all three of those things. I figured out a way to mash them all together into one artwork, right? I even added some clouds in the sky. So I have, you know, a general idea. So we'll talk more about sketches tomorrow. I want you guys to work on having at least this done for class today.